one of these teachers that you may have read here, some of the books regarding this teacher, known as Daskalos, the Cypriot healer, the Magus of Strovolos, yes? Now, I spent quite a bit of time with this man, and he would turn up in my house. He lived in Cyprus, and I lived in London, in Holland Park at the time. Now I live in Sussex, further away. But I remember very clearly at different times of the day or night, he would actually turn up and naturally materialize his body to a certain degree so that I can actually see it and make a note, and he will convey to me something that was important, or some aspect of the teaching, or whatever was actually necessary. And the beautiful thing was that I saw him taking a different form, and that gave me the idea that you are not limited to keeping the actual counterpart of the physical form that your astral body takes. He was able to take the form of a radiant disk like a sun, which filled the whole ceiling when he actually manifested, with a particular color frequency that he was carrying at the time. So if he was trying to convey to me some kind of spiritual teaching, then beautiful radiant violet light will be the whole aura of that radiant disk. If he wanted to convey something much more intellectual, then a very yellow radiant color will be caressing the whole aura of that radiant disk. And if there were other more mundane elements that he wanted to inform me about, then he may have more a red color aura in that radiant disk that meant that he was informing me of some kind of information to do with the administration of matters pertaining on the physical plane to do with the work. So I have had directly the experience from teachers, and when we talk about what it is to be an invisible helper, I will tell you, of course, some additional stories of some of the things that I, as well as other individuals who are members of these bands of invisible helpers, of these groups of invisible helpers in the inner planes, get up to during the night. And indeed, many phenomena that occur on the physical plane, where sudden healings apparently occur, and sudden individuals who are in a terrible mental state wake up and feel perfectly at ease, might be the intervention from some invisible helpers. And so let us take it for granted that indeed we all, in the hours of the night, astrally project, and it is a very simple matter to learn how to consciously astrally project. So one of the methods by which we can actually produce that phenomena in actuality is to take advantage of the natural mechanism that occurs just before we go to sleep. And the way to begin to do that is, first of all, to clear all the worries from your mind. Because if you are obviously having a lot of physical worries, then they will interfere and make the hypnagogic state last too long, and then you will fall asleep. You will not be able to take advantage of it. So clearing off from your mind all matters that pertain to your worries. Take a piece of paper as an example and write down all the things that you need to do as a personality on the physical plane. And then put them in the fridge and say, I will deal with them when I come back from the astral plane. And so, in having chosen a place that you want to lay your body to astrally project, make sure that it is not next to electrical wiring, for that will interfere heavily. Make sure that your mattress, if you really want to have a good result, does not have powerful springs, metal springs, for that will actually interfere. Any heavy makeup should be taken off. Any heavy jewelry should be taken off. For all of these carry their own particular vibrations and can actually interfere with the success of your first test run. So the way to really bring about this phenomena is, first of all, as we said, to recognize that you do it every night. and wake yourself up towards the end of an A period sleep, and make a note and record and convince yourself that it happens. Then try again in the hours of the night for a week to actually prolong a little bit the hypnagogic state consciously, and just when you are about to fall asleep, let your body fall asleep, but you maintain yourself awake, and thus you wake yourself up in the dream state. And some of you may have had that phenomena when you are actually awake in the dream state. You are dreaming, apparently, but you are awake in it, and you can actually do things consciously and manipulate certain events. Now, if it is a real astral projection, then you cannot manipulate all events. If it is a dream state in your head, then when you are awake, you can actually change anything and everything, and nothing can interfere with it. So as an example, if a car is coming towards you, the physical counterpart of a car, then it will just pass right through you. And if you are trying to concentrate and make it change course, it will not do so. It will pass right through you. It will not damage your astral body. So be not fearful if you are on the astral plane and suddenly you're walking on the road and a car passes, for it will not damage you, because the two dimensions are of different matter, and thereby the subtle vibrations of the astral body do not get shocked by the physical matter that passes through them. And so the astral body can pass through walls. I see sometimes bodies coming out of their physical forms and opening doors to actually walk out of rooms. It is not necessary. You can just walk right through the door without opening the door, yes? So in their minds, they still feel that they have to open the door. But consciously, if you realize that you are in a different dimension, then you can just pass through the door or through the wall without interference. So indeed, you have the capacity to transfer that subtle awakened state by letting your body fall asleep and you carrying that awakened state into the dream world. And if you can do that for a few nights, then you are ready to really take a conscious test of astrally projecting. Then you can choose it at a normal day or evening. And one of the things that you would have realized if you have maintained yourself awake and pass through that slight jerk that occurs just before you're falling asleep, you would have noticed a certain astral signal. This astral signal is very, very important because it will help you to make your conscious astral projection. This astral signal may take the form of either the room suddenly becoming brighter, you notice a brightness in the room, or you might suddenly feel a buzz in your forehead, or a ripple of energy in your chest, or a kind of a breeze of a wind suddenly passing. And so there have been a recording of many different phenomena that occurred during the moment of the exteriorization of the astral body from the physical. But these are some of the main ones. And so if you have observed yourself as you are coming out during the hours of the night, and you have been able to maintain and wake yourself up in your dream state, you may have noticed what your actual signal is. And if you do notice it, then make a note, because that will be very helpful. So in your test day, when you want to really consciously astrally project, you will focus your attention on that signal and on one other matter. This other matter is the necessity for why you are actually astrally projecting. There are two powerful drives on the astral plane. On the more grosser realm is hunger and sex. But in the higher realm is love and hunger for spiritual knowledge. And so if you make your necessity love, i.e. because you love someone who is in the faraway place and they are sick or they need your assistance, and you deeply want to be there with them, but events do not allow you to travel there on the physical plane, then use that as your necessity. So having prepared yourself, maybe have a shower or a bath, and having chosen your safe place, then lie down and focus the attention in your breath. Take a few comfortable deep breaths and allow that regularity of the breath to really relax your body, for all begins with relaxation. and be aware not to fall asleep, maintaining your self-awareness during that relaxing period. So when you feel that you are actually really relaxed, then focus the attention on that signal. And for about 5 minutes, concentrate on that signal, and then for another 5 minutes on the actual necessity of your destination. Then begin to actually build, just above you, a counter image of your physical form. Imagine that like a steam rises out of your physical body and creates this beautiful image of your physical form just above you. And then see it being lifted up towards the ceiling, looking down at your physical form. After a few moments, just relax again, and you'll find that that image that you have created falls back into your body. The second time that you try and do that, then focus the attention in your destination, and at that moment, either you will find yourself actualized in the place where you have set your mind to go to, or not. If not, then return back and focus your attention again on your astral signal and concentrate again on the destination, for you might not have been able to imprint that in the astral counterpart of your consciousness. This is one of the methods to astrally project, but there are, of course, other methods. One of the other methods is to imagine when you are lying on your bed that you are actually at the bottom of a lake. And after deeply relaxing your body, to feel the same strong force that you have when you're trying to rise out of the lake when you're just running out of breath, and you really force yourself to rise out of the water, to have that feeling, that desire, that power to really rise out of your body with that same sense. But before you actually do that conviction in your mind, focus your attention on the destination that you actually want to go to. That forms the necessity for why you are externalizing yourself out of your physical form. Another very wonderful method, which has been very successful for some of the students that were taught it, is to lie down again and use the breath as the vehicle to astrally project. You take 40 breaths, deep breaths, to approximately 12 counts in breath, 6 counts holding the breath, 12 counts the out breath. 12 counts mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So to count the 40, you might actually put your hands on your stomach, and each time you complete one breath, you tap with one finger. And then the second complete breath, you tap with your second finger. After you have done 40 complete breaths of that, simultaneously focusing your attention on the astral signal if you know it, and if you don't know it, just on your destination that you have set your mind to go to, then knowing, behold, because your astral body would have been so highly charged by the 40 breaths, you will find yourself astrally projecting, of actually doing it. But all of these include putting your body to sleep, i.e. the body falls asleep and you are being externalized. There is one other way which has not been publicized anywhere that I know of in any of the books that have been written on this subject matter. And this is the most advanced way, and it is a way that initiates and great masters employ whenever they need to. And that is that they create what is known as a Mayavanic body, another actual body by the power of their creativity. They take sometimes 10 days. If you are doing it for the first time, it will take at least 10 days to build and create this form of a counterpart of yourself in some special part of your house which you will not be interfered by others. And then you learn to transfer your consciousness into that form that you have built and learn how to employ the 4 great ethers, which are the kinetic ether, by using your consciousness and the kinetic ether to make that form move its hands, move its legs and walk, by using the sentient ether so that that form can actually sense and pick up information, by using the imprinting ether so that that form, whatever it experiences, has the ability to imprint it upon itself so that when it comes back to you, it can give you the information, and then obviously using the creative ether to create that form with the kind of power and possibility that it can act as your instrument. And thus, those that are able to create such a form and employ these four great ethers are able to be in more places than once at the same time. So the physical form can be giving a talk right here and now, while that other form can actually be in some other place helping somebody else. And not only one, you can make several. And so the masters very often can manifest at the same time to many students in different parts of the world. And the students are all amazed that the master is giving them the full attention. They feel special and privileged, for the master's attention is upon them. Little do they know that the master probably simultaneously is conveying teaching to thousands and maybe millions at the same time. And so, indeed, this is the most advanced way of employing the astral or the mental planes. But of course, it is a very difficult task to accomplish, and it requires the powers of concentration, the powers of visualization, and the powers of meditation. But the earlier stages that I have highlighted, of course, are much easier, for they employ the facility which already exists in your natural constitution for going out during each and every night. So we said that the purpose for doing this is to really become an invisible helper. And what is an invisible helper, and what do they do? Well, the invisible helpers is a kind of a hierarchy that ranges from the ordinary departed souls from the physical plane that are a little bit awake and have the interest to be of value and of service, and so they are given a little task for a period of time to oversee a little granddaughter or a grandson and just project some kind thoughts into their minds and into their hearts, to the next stage up of young students on the probationary path who want to be useful, and they are very eager to be of some service during the hours of the night, and so they may gravitate to one of these bands of invisible helpers, which is overseen by an initiate of some degree, to actual full accepted students of the great masters, to initiates, and of course the masters themselves. So this great spiritual hierarchy of the spiritual parents of humanity has always existed upon this planet, will always exist, and is in existence right here and now as we speak.